Hi, hello. Welcome to the episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is February the 21st, 2025. Hopefully, this episode finds you well, in good spirits, and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing pretty good. Happy Friday to ya. Hopefully, this energy finds you well. Whether or not it's on a Friday or not, that doesn't matter. Hopefully, you still feel Friday when you're listening to this. My day was good. It was cold, but we got a high of 32 degrees. And boy, howdy, when it's been in the teens for as long as it has been, low 20s and shit, you'll take it. You will take a 32. So work was steady work, so that was kind of a bit annoying. But overall, it was a good day. No complaints. We went to the gym after work, as we often do. And did it a little different again. I don't even want. The mood was almost goofy. Like I just was like, there's not as many people here today. Like it's not wall to wall. And I noticed the Smith machine was open, for the bench press or whatever. And I've never done bench press. I mean, I take that back. I guess maybe I tried it one time with like no weights on it as like a kid in high school, maybe. So I lifted the bar. So I've never done it, and I've had my reasons for not. Just I just didn't want to waste time. I felt like stacking up. So I saw that was open, and then I also saw that the leg press that you can add weights to is open. So I was like, you know what? We're gonna just try both of these out today. We're gonna take the time and just make that happen. And I gotta say, I enjoyed it. It was nice. It was a nice change of pace. I will say it's not something I think I'm gonna do every single day. I think that's maybe more of a weekend thing when I notice that I have the time, or maybe I'll fit it in if I notice like, hey, I get in and like the machine's open. Hey, why not? So it was just nice to try myself and push myself in a different, couple different ways today. So that was cool. So yeah, gym felt good. So there we go. We're all caught up on that. Let's do food corner. I did burger, hot dogs, fries, a little bit of a remix. I took a bolillo roll and made that into the burger bun for the sandwich. So that was a little different, but overall it was good. Same vibes. So yeah, yummy meal, yummy day. Let's go ahead and do our startup and get into some news. Oh, also now, I mean, I will say it's not an impressive number, but I can bench 135. So now I know that. I feel like that's good gym rat talk. But granted, once again, not impressive. My legs, I can do the like what was it, 360 on the seated leg press that we're doing now. Before this, I was maxing out like 35. So I was like, okay, cool. Good that I can do pretty much another 25 pounds. I will say that's another thing I hate is I'm over here with my fucking calculator because I can't do quick math. I'm an English guy, okay? I'm more of a wordsmith, believe it or not. Numbers, not my forte. Anyway, let's do this. Let's do the startup. Yummy. From the ABC News. Former Proud Boys leader Enrique Tarrio arrested at U.S. Capitol. Enrique Tarrio, the former chairman of the Proud Boys and who was recently pardoned by President Donald Trump, was arrested at the U.S. Capitol on Friday, according to authorities. Tarrio, according to the U.S. Capitol Police, allegedly struck a woman's phone and arm when she allegedly put a phone near his face after a press conference wrapped up on Capitol grounds. Tarrio was, and they just go through his whole thing with January 6th and all that, yada. This is some breaking news that I got before I went on, so I was like, yeah, let's just go ahead and throw it top of the pile. We'll start there. Am I surprised that this guy is getting done up so soon? No, not really. Kind of crazy that he's in Washington doing shit. I would have figured he'd be a little bit more laying low about it, but hey, he's gonna do his thing, I guess. Anyway, we'll go and move along. There's another update here, once again from the ABC News. Salman Rushdie stabbing suspect found guilty of attempted murder. A jury has convicted a New Jersey man for attempted murder in the 2022 stabbing attack on author Salman Rushdie, while the author was on stage at a speaking event in upstate New York. Hadi Matar was found guilty of second-degree attempted murder and assault in connection with the attack at I'm just gonna fuck this up. Quatakua Institution in southwestern New York. The jury began deliberating around midday Friday before reaching their verdict within 2 hours. Did not take them very long. Let's see here. Now, apparently there was two versions, obviously from the prosecution and then by the defense, which is kind of crazy because this was on tape. Like, this was recorded. Everyone saw it. So you're essentially just trying to play interpretation here, I guess, if you're the defense. Quataqua, I'm just going to keep fucking that up. County District Attorney Jason Smith played a slow-motion video showing Matar emerging from the audience, sprinting towards Rushdie, and launching a violent attack. Schmidt described the stabbing as a deliberate, targeted attack, arguing that striking someone 10 to 15 times in the face and neck made death a foreseeable outcome. A trauma surgeon testified that Rushdie would have died without immediate medical intervention. It's also maybe worth, reminding the audience that there was a fatwa issued, against Salman Rushdie, and it would make sense that someone coming to attack you in this way means to do you fatal harm, means to do you lethal harm. They're not messing around. They don't just want to quote unquote send a message. No, the message is your death. Like, you did something that was against Allah and now it's your ass. Like, that is what is happening here. But essentially the defense was like, no, that's not what it was. Like, no way. Like, he was attacking him in the face. He was slashing him in the face. He just wanted to send a message. It's like, no, man. Like, it's not just he attempted to do harm. He attempted to murder. And, even the defense kind of came out and was like, yeah, with the video, this was pretty damaging. They used the word extremely damaging. He is slated to face up to 25 years in prison. I think it's going to be sometime in April when that comes up. Let me skim ahead. April 23rd. There we go. He faces a maximum of 25 years in prison for the attempted murder charge. Also, it's worth noting, too, they tried to give him a plea deal, and he didn't take it. Like, that's kind of crazy, once again, because there's multiple witnesses, there's video, and you're just like, nah, I'm gonna run it, dude. I'm innocent. Do you really think that, bro? You really think you're gonna beat this case? Like, come on. There's no insanity defense. There's nothing. You're just gonna hit this shit raw, and this is what happens. Like, I don't know what to tell you on this. Y'all know I ain't a fan of the pen, but this motherfucker going there. Let's see. Matar still faces federal terrorism charges in connection with the attack. He was indicted by a grand jury on 3 counts, including attempting to provide material support to a foreign terrorist organization and providing material support to terrorists. The indictment alleges that he knowingly did attempt to provide material support and resources to Hezbollah, a designated foreign terrorist organization, and had engaged and was engaging in terrorism. So dude looks double fucked right now. It's not looking good for Hadi Matar. I don't know, man. It's wild to make this kind of fucking move over a guy who just made a book about, like, religion or something, about hell. Like, it's not that serious. Like, I guess to some people, yes, you can't draw Muhammad and things of that nature, and I get it. You gotta respect, other cultures and religions, but, like, man's just made a book. Like, if you're taking someone's issued fatwa seriously, that's on you, dog. I don't know. That's intense. Once again, crazy that they didn't try any kind of like special defense, but I imagine he didn't want it. That's oof. Eesh, you hate. I don't want to say you hate to see it, but this seems like justice is serving. I don't know. Anyway, let's move on. We have a couple of stories here that I'm going to have to do the full reader mode, which is probably for the best. Y'all know I'm a bastard when it comes to paraphrasing. But or riffing, whatever the fuck you want to call what the fuck I'm doing at the time. But yeah, we just have to read this verbatim because this is a long story on each of these in terms of like you gotta get the points to points. Otherwise, I feel like you're not really seeing the severity here. So sometimes we just gotta do that shit. So let me go actually take a water break, a little midway water break here, and then we'll go ahead and get into it. This first one is from the Miami Herald. All right. We fell short. 7 Broward Sheriff's deputies suspended after Tamarack triple murder. 7 Broward Sheriff's Office deputies were suspended over their handling of previous calls leading up to Sunday's triple murder in Tamarack, in which a U.S. Army vet with a history of domestic violence shot and killed his wife, her father, and the neighbor whose house she sought refuge in. Broward Sheriff Gregory Toney said during a Wednesday news conference. The couple's 4-year-old daughter, Seraphine, witnessed the killings, which happened around 6:30 a.m. Sunday in a quiet Tamarack neighborhood, deputy said. Nathan Allen Ginglis, we're going to say Ginglis, 43, who had 2 court-issued domestic violence restraining orders against him, is accused of killing his estranged wife, Mary Catherine Ginglis, 34, her 64-year-old father, David Posner, and her 36-year-old neighbor, Andrew Farron, in a calculated murder spree across 2 homes. Lieutenant Michael Paparella, Sergeant Travis Allen, Sergeant Divuni Williams, Deputy Lonnie Caballos, and Deputy Brittany King, who all worked in the Tamarack area, were put on administrative investigative leave with pay, according to BSO. Also placed on leave were Civil Division Deputy Joseph Sasso and Dania Beach Deputy Daniel Munoz. All the officers suspended worked for BSO for at least 5 years. 2 of the officers, Paparella and Williams, worked with the department for 2 decades. In the process of looking at the homicide, we had to open up an internal affairs investigation to identify any shortcomings that may have occurred in the investigative process from a patrol standpoint and within the detective bureau out of Tamarack, Toney said. It is clear we fell short on this one. Toney emphasized the deputies suspended were involved in some aspect of the overall investigation, whether it was on Sunday or during previous calls to the house in October and December, as well as other points when they were called to the house. Officers were complacent and failed to do their due diligence when documenting and responding to calls dating back to last year. There had been a robust amount of calls in the dozens to the home, which they list the home. We don't need to say all that. Anyway, in October, Mary contacted BSO when she discovered that her husband had placed a tracker on her car, according to a domestic violence court petition she filed in December, seeking a restraining order against Nathan, which Broward Family Court Judge Lauren Alferstein granted. Excuse me. She tried to schedule a meeting with Deputy Raul Ortiz, who didn't answer her call or call her back. Mary sent him a follow-up email, but he didn't respond, the petition said. which that's crazy. Like, you're already going through all this. You're already pushed to the limit, and you're like, look, I just need to get this going, continue on with this process. Let me just talk to this deputy. And this deputy is not answering your calls. You're like, what the fuck? You're letting some time go by. Like, clearly this is an ongoing thing. You need this done. You email them. And I don't know about you, but even like as a millennial, like that shit is so fucking annoying to have to email anyone. It's just not something you will fucking want to do. You only do it when there's essentially, I hate to say it, a gun pointed to your head. You know what I mean? Like, it is not something you want to do. I hate calling people. I hate emailing people, especially if it's a fucking cop, dude. But this is what Mary was trying to do, and it fell on deaf ears. I just feel it's really important to stop here for the first time and really just hammer that point home. Mary's divorce petition also states that Nathan is ex-military and has high security clearance and seen to be friendly with BSO officers. That's another point that you have to stop and say, is that part of the reason too? Like, did he just charm them? Like, it's also worth mentioning too, they both have military background. So like, it's not just that, but it just seems like, oh, okay, it's not as bad as it seems. Like they're just going through some, marital blah, but someone has to actually use clear eyes here and be like, no, this is fucked up. Something's wrong here. Or shit, I need to do my fucking job, period. In December, deputies responded to a call from Mary, who said her husband was threatening to kill her. During that exchange, deputies may have had enough evidence to have arrested Nathan after a more than 30-minute conversation with her. Tony said, but they didn't. While deputies did seize Nathan's weapons after a judge ordered his guns to be removed, they gave his guns back to him. And BSO deputies did not take Nathan's guns from him after a Broward judge mandated they be seized in December. Tony said his investigators will comb through why the weapons weren't seized. I don't want the public to lose faith, Tony said. When we rectify the situation, I'm going to send the fear of God amongst this entire agency. I don't know how you fucking believe that quote at all. Like, it's already hard enough to believe that, but I imagine at a local level, when you see your fucking cops fuck up like this, it just fucking hits different. I mean, I know for me it did. When I see the motherfuckers, especially, I don't want to get too fucking anecdotal. We're burning a lot of time. But when you just see it in your own fucking neighborhood, it's just fucking frustrating, dude. It's infuriating because it's like, yeah, this is literally, it's everywhere. It is a prolific fucking issue in one way or another. There will be people who lose their jobs over this, the sheriff said. However, Tony lauded his SWAT team's rescue of the 4-year-old girl, saying deputies promptly handled what could have developed into an active shooter situation at North Lauderdale Walmart, where Nathan and his daughter were found after the killings. Oof, that's brutal. But the sheriff said BSO should have taken more steps to prevent the domestic violence from turning tragically violent. Let's see. I'm going to skip just a little bit here. For more than a year, Mary feared that her estranged husband was planning to kill her, court records show. A Broward judge issued a domestic violence restraining order against Nathan on December 30th and in February 2024 after Mary detailed his cycle of violence. With Nathan's violent history, his flagrant disregard for rules or laws, and his telling our daughter that he is going to kill me, I'm fearful for my life, Mary said in the December court petition. He has already taken steps to prepare to murder me, but is waiting for the opportune time. Deputies learned about the brutal killings after a 911 operator received a call Sunday morning about 4 shots fired near the 5800 block of Plumway Parkway. The caller told authorities he heard a woman crying and screaming, "Oh my God." After his arrest affidavit, Nathan shot and killed Mary while their 4-year-old daughter watched. Surveillance cameras in the neighborhood captured Mary running into a house across the street where she and Farron, her neighbor, were found shot to death. Moments before the murders, Nathan was seen with the little girl behind him, following Mary into the home. Sergeant Allen, one of the BSO's deputies suspended, was the officer who saw Nathan and his daughter walking through the neighborhood. Nathan was dressed in black, and Seraphine wasn't wearing shoes, the affidavit says. Both Mary and Nathan Ginglas were officers in the service, and both worked in the Signal Corps, which manages military communication systems, according to the U.S. Army Human Services Command. Nathan Ginglas served from February 2011 to January 2019 and deployed to Afghanistan from July 2013 to January 2014. July 2013, sorry. I don't know if I said that right. According to the Army, he was discharged from service at the rank of captain. Mary Ginglas served from June 2016 through June of 2020 and was also a captain when she left the Army, according to information the service provided. She was never deployed into an active or to a combat zone, the Army said. Yeah, the rest are minor details. Nathan is jailed on a slew of charges, including murder, kidnapping, and child abuse. So yeah, this is a rough story, obviously, going through. But it's just crazy that there were so many points that police could have actually interacted in a positive way and probably stopped this from fucking happening. But instead, they just didn't act. They just didn't do anything. And the negligence built up and built up and built up until it was at a criminal level. And now they have to actually go through this shit and actually, like, you know, maybe, quote unquote, make some heads roll. I shouldn't say quote unquote. No one said that. I literally read all of it, so I can't do that. But anyway, so it goes. That's one story. There's another one that we have to pretty much read through too. So once again, I need to take another sip of water. Let this load up here. Another ABC News story. Now I gotta say the headline on this was the big appeal to me, and I mean it adds up to the hype. I would say. Grand jury recommends Alabama Police Department be immediately abolished. Now that's not some shit. I haven't heard that abolishing any police since George Floyd. That it's been a while. That became a big no thing to say because everyone's like, you can't do that. It would be law and order. So I immediately was like, I bet this is some kind of like, I don't want to say a cozy situation. That's the wrong word to use. But I was like, it's got to be like what, like not a big town or something. Sure enough, it's like a population of 3,000. They just want potentially another law enforcement from another city to come and take over. But yeah, I mean, I was like, oh, wow. It must be big what they did. Anyway, in Alabama, no less, in the South. An Alabama grand jury has recommended that a city's police department be immediately abolished, finding there is a rampant culture of corruption, officials said Wednesday, while announcing the indictment of 5 of the agency's officers, including its police chief. 5 Hansville police officers were arrested and charged amid a probe into the department. Coleman County District Attorney Champ Croker. Gotta say, cool ass fucking name there. It's probably Camp Crocker, right? It's probably Champ Crocker. Look, I'm running out of words to use, all right? I'm running out of speech. The spouse of one of the officers was also charged, he said. This is a sad day for law enforcement, but at the same time, it is a good day for the rule of law, Crocker said during a press briefing on Wednesday. Crocker provided limited details on the case, though the investigation encompassed the department's evidence room and the death of a Hansville dispatcher, 49-year-old Christopher Michael Willingham, who was found dead from a toxic drug combination at work, officials said. The Coleman County grand jury found that Hansville Police Department has failed to account for, preserve, and maintain evidence, and in doing so has failed crime victims and the public at large, making the evidence unusable, Crocker said. The grand jury further found that William Ham's death was the direct result of Hansville Police Department's negligence, lack of procedure, general incompetence, and disregard for human life. None of the defendants were charged in Willingham's death, Crocker said, though the unfettered access that a lot of people had to the evidence room is the basis for the grand jury's finding regarding the dispatcher's death, Crocker said. One of the most concerning things that we discovered in this process is that the Hansville Police Department's evidence room was not secured, Crocker said. Crocker said that William Ham was given access, like a lot of other people, to the evidence room, including on his last day of work. The dispatcher died on August 23rd, 2024, with the cause of death determined to be the combined toxic effects of fentanyl, gabapentin, diazepam, amphetamine, caryoprodol, and methylcarbamol, and the manner of death, an accident, according to the state medical examiner's autopsy report. I can't imagine just taking that whole cocktail of drugs. That's wild as fuck. When asked if William Ham may have been exposed to fentanyl that was not kept in a secure place, Crocker said nothing was secure about the evidence room. And when Mr. Willingham was discovered, there was evidence in his office. So essentially, he just kind of sampled, and the sample killed him. A municipal judge entered an order on Wednesday calling for an audit of the evidence room. Among those charged are Hansville Police Chief Jason Shane Marlin, who was charged with failure to report an ethics crime and tampering with physical evidence. Officers Cody Allen Kelso and Jason Scott Wilbanks were charged with computer tampering, tampering with physical evidence, conspiracy to commit a controlled substance crime, and use of an official position for personal gain. Officer William Andrew Shelnut was charged with tampering with physical evidence, Crocker said. Even Michael Kelso, who was a reserve officer, and his wife, Donna Reed Kelso, were charged with unlawful distribution of a controlled substance and conspiracy to unlawfully distribute a controlled substance. The distribution charges are not based on the distribution of anything within the evidence room, and they are accused of distributing certain drugs to other individuals, including some of these other defendants, Crocker said. Now, that's where I go, that feels dubious, because you're saying, so this particular situation, I guess, with Willingham, he took the drugs from the evidence room, party hardy, died, and, but these other guys, and, I guess gals with Miss Kelso, they were just dealing other shit, not through the evidence room, not out of the evidence room. I don't know. It just seems like, why wouldn't they? It seems like this isn't a police station. This is like a thief's den. This is like an HQ. This is like, a little place where you do your shit. I mean, a little fiefdom, if you will. I don't know. But, hey, I guess if they're parsing it out, I kind of just have to go with what's being told to me here. I don't know. But that's where I was kind of like, really? None, there's no connection to the evidence room outside of just this with Willingham? Okay, all right. All charges are felonies except for tampering with physical evidence, which is a misdemeanor. That charge alleges that the defendants mishandled or removed evidence from the evidence room. The employment status of the officers was not immediately clear, Crocker said. The defendants surrendered on Wednesday and have since made bond, Coleman County Sheriff Matt Gentry said. Attorney information was not immediately available. There's nothing more important to us in law enforcement than good, honest law enforcement. When we have those that do wrong, it hurts us all, Gentry said during Wednesday's briefing. Among nearly a dozen points raised by the grand jury, it found that the department is a particular and ongoing threat to public, has a rampant culture of corruption, and has recently operated as more of a criminal enterprise than a law enforcement agency, Crocker said. Let's see here. I already mentioned that the town of Hansville has about like 3,000 people, so we can skip that. Yeah, that's more or less it. But yeah, crazy story coming out of Alabama there. Like I said, essentially you're just flipping this whole station into a little den of evil to do whatever the fuck you want. And it went all the way to the top. And I mean, hey, it took someone dying. It took a dispatcher dying, getting high after more or less the old supply. And, now we're talking about it. Now we know. So yeah, I mean, I'll keep you posted on both of these stories and see what shakes out of that. I figured it was definitely important and interesting because it kind of shows you and reminds you that like cops are fucked up, but not at like that ground traffic stop level. You know what I mean? I feel like I cover and talk about that part a lot, but there's so many other ways where the shit gets so fucked up. And then, we kind of skip ahead until we get to the whole order part of it. And you see the judicial branch kind of let the shit slide or, do whatever, for the most part, a lot of times. So this was just a different level, a little bit of different part of the spectrum, I guess. I felt more compelled to kind of talk about both of these stories, bundle them together. So yeah, last one, we're going to do a bit of a palate cleanser. Though I got to say, you shouldn't swallow it. You should just because it's not safe. It's another recall. Anyway, let's go ahead and take our last break and we'll close it out. All right, last story comes from the New Zealand Herald. So there you go, 2 Heralds. New Zealand, Pam's branded chicken nuggets recalled after possible presence of blue rubber. Why blue? Like, that's such a distinct thing, but I guess, hey, what? So many questions, so little answers. A popular brand of chicken nuggets is being urgently recalled after fears they may contain small pieces of blue rubber. Foodstuffs' own brands has issued a recall of Pam's brand tempura-coated chicken nuggets, with New Zealand Food Safety Deputy Director General Vincent Arbuckle, warning not to eat them. If you have a 1 kilogram bag of Pam's tempura coated chicken nuggets with a best before date of October 16, 2025, don't eat them, he said. Return the nuggets to the place of purchase for a refund, or if that's not possible, throw them out. So, that's the typical thing you do here. The affected product is sold at Foursquare, Gilmore's, New World, Pack and Save, and social supermarket stores across the country. It's been removed from the stores, or at least the affected product has been removed from the stores. I got a burp. I'm going to stifle it. Okay, cool. So yeah, we're closing out with that. Don't eat the blue rubber chicken. Don't do it. Just chug it. But yeah, that'll be it. That'll be the episode. Okay, cool. Okay, I was worried with all that reading that I took way too long, and I've held you here for so long, and it was like a purgatory for you. But we've made it in under 40 minutes. I love that for us. So if you'd like to help out, support the effort, I have a Patreon. Patreon.com/News. Become a newsie today. Do it now. I don't know. It's whatever. It's a tip thing. You get access to some old. I don't want to say practice episodes. There's a lore story in there from me. That's tied to another news thing that happened. Anyway, but there's it's a tip jar. It is what it is. It's a cool thing that you could do if you want to do it. And you get newsy status. Oh yeah, I mean, we're almost there, kind of. Yeah, it's such a short month. It all kind of hits me fast. But we do shout outs. So, I shout you out if you want. You're on the newsy roll call. Do that at the top of the month. So that's coming up. Free ways to hit me up. IsaiahNews1@gmail.com. Feel free to follow me or the podcast on any of the socials. Subscribe to the YouTube. Follow me on TikTok. Follow me on Spotify. On the episode, hit the like button. Leave a cool comment. Those are always appreciated. Love you, Mom. Appreciate that. That's always nice. And then, do whatever. Do your thing. It really, if you've made it this far, I really just appreciate you for that. You don't have to do a damn thing, Hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love you. Bye-bye. Mwah.